They say virtue is the highest good. But what if sometimes virtue is just anger in disguise? Think about it. How many people claim to be moral, good, or even stoic, not because they've mastered themselves, but because they've suppressed themselves? That quiet calmness we praise, could it be nothing more than rage locked in a cage? The Stoics taught us to remain unshaken, to turn the other cheek, to master passion with reason. But when does mastery cross into denial? And when denial festers, what kind of monsters are born? Today we're going to explore the dark side of virtue, the uncomfortable truth that being too good doesn't always make you righteous. Sometimes it makes you dangerous because suppressed fire doesn't vanish, it smolders. And when it erupts, it doesn't look like anger. It looks like justice, it looks like morality, it looks like virtue, but in reality, it's vengeance dressed in robes of wisdom. So let's ask the forbidden question: is Stoicism teaching us resilience or repression? Virtue is seductive. Society tells us it's the ultimate badge of honor: patience, humility, self-control. But here's the problem. The human mind isn't a monk, it's an animal. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, taught that our highest calling is to live in harmony with reason, unmoved by chaos, unshaken by insult. On the surface, this is noble. But peel back the layers and you'll find a paradox. The more someone claims to be above anger, the more you should ask, what are they hiding underneath? Psychology confirms what the ancients intuited. Emotions don't disappear when suppressed, they mutate. Repressed anger doesn't vanish, it transforms into cold resentment, into cynicism, into moral superiority. In fact, studies in clinical psychology suggest that chronic emotional suppression is linked to passive-aggressive behavior, depression, and even bursts of unexpected violence. So when someone says, "I am calm, I am virtuous, I am in control," ask yourself, are they in control, or are they boiling inside, waiting for a crack in the mask? Virtue then becomes a weapon. People wield it not as an inner compass, but as a shield to protect their fragile ego. It's not self-mastery, it's self-deception. And here's the uncomfortable twist. Society rewards this. The good man who never raises his voice, the patient worker who silently absorbs injustice, the stoic leader who never cries. We put them on pedestals, but behind closed doors, their silence may not be serenity. It may be suffocation. Nietzsche warned us about this very danger. He called it resentment, the morality of the powerless. The idea that people unable to act on their anger reframe their weakness as virtue. I am not vengeful, they say, when in truth they are powerless to strike back. Instead, they sanctify their passivity, calling it morality. But beneath that sainthood lies poison, because when anger hides behind virtue, it doesn't stay hidden forever. It leaks out in bitter words, in moral policing, in righteous indignation that feels less like wisdom and more like suppressed wrath. That's why the most virtuous people are often the quickest to condemn. They'll never throw a punch, but they'll burn you at the stake of morality. Virtue, then, isn't always a light. Sometimes it's a shadow, a mask that hides the very rage it pretends to master. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." A powerful reminder, but here's the danger. Strength of mind can easily become a prison. When we misinterpret Stoicism as total suppression, strength turns into silence, and silence breeds resentment. Seneca warned about this too. In his essay On Anger, he said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." But notice, he didn't say denial. Delay is wisdom, denial is repression. And yet many so-called Stoics confuse the two. They don't delay their anger to understand it, they bury it to avoid it. And what's buried doesn't die, it waits. Let's get real for a moment. Think of the calm parent who never shouts, but constantly drops passive-aggressive comments. The employee who never complains, yet secretly sabotages their boss. The friend who smiles in public but resents you in private. That's stoicism gone toxic. That's virtue mutating into vengeance. The ancients lived in a brutal world. Wars, slavery, plagues. They needed philosophy to survive. But in our modern world, Stoicism has become an aesthetic, a brand, a TikTok soundbite. Don't feel, don't react, don't be weak. But here's the paradox. The more you deny your fire, the more it controls you. The calm exterior becomes a fragile dam, and when it breaks, the flood looks nothing like serenity. It looks like vengeance disguised as righteousness. So when Marcus Aurelius says, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it," we must ask, what if your estimate is a lie you tell yourself? What if you convince yourself you're calm while deep down you're burning? That's not stoicism, that's self-betrayal. Let's go darker. History shows us what happens when virtue mutates into vengeance. Think of religious inquisitors, calm, pious men who burned others alive in the name of virtue, or political leaders who, in the name of morality, silenced voices and punished dissent. Were they calm philosophers, or angry men who weaponized virtue as cover for violence? Seneca warned us again, anger, if not restrained, is frequently more destructive than the injury that provokes it. But in truth, restrained anger can be just as destructive because it festers, disguises itself as moral superiority, and lashes out in subtle but devastating ways. This is the uncomfortable truth. Virtue is not always virtue. Sometimes it's vengeance with a halo. Sometimes the person who looks the calmest is the one most consumed by rage. And that's why we must be careful not to turn stoicism into repression. True stoicism isn't about denial, it's about understanding. It's not about pretending you're above anger. It's about mastering it without lying to yourself. Because the line between sage and tyrant is thinner than we think. Both may wear the mask of virtue, but one hides wisdom, the other hides wrath. So ask yourself, when you act virtuous, is it really wisdom? Or is it vengeance dressed in white robes? Are you truly calm, or are you just waiting for the moment your mask cracks? If this video made you question your own understanding of Stoicism, subscribe to Stoic Thinker. Because here we don't just glorify ancient philosophy, we interrogate it. We expose its shadows. We ask the questions others avoid. Virtue is not what it seems. And sometimes the calmest voice in the room is the one hiding the loudest scream.